Like I read them.
Hey there. Welcome to Tech Talk Weekly. I'm Bob from Creation Station. This is our weekly show where we give you 3 or 4 cool, fun science and tech stories, get you on your way in about 20 minutes. If there's an episode, I was about to say the next line, sorry. If there's a show you want to see on the next episode, reach out. Creation Station at broward.org. Today I have Miss Autumn on with me. Thank you very much for being here.
I am coming to you from the frozen north, as indicated by my sweater.
It
And
is
when I say north, I say North Broward County, and the frozen is
North Lauderdale. Yep.
The air conditioner in my office is actually the whole building.
That's a good thing. It's a good thing for this. I know.
Most of the building.
And I know some people maybe are paying attention are like, wait. We're supposed to have kids. We're supposed to have all the teens on during the summer. We do not have today because this is a semi-special episode. If you've watched every single one of these, it's weird. This is our 300th video in the feed. This is only episode 243, but we've got 2 shows and bonus episodes. Were you here back when I did the bonus episode with the Artemis crew? And I did Slade Peters, so you got to go back in and watch those old ones. Back in season 1 or 2, we did a couple of bonus episodes, one on AI. I did one with NASA on the Artemis landing crew, who recovers the capsules when they land in the ocean and stuff like that. So there's some fun stuff back in the archives. If you haven't been watching all of the, I would love somebody to have watched all 300 of these besides me, but we'll see.
It's not me.
Not me. I did. I'm hoping someone else is out there.
Maybe.
I'm not the only one. But you're not alone ever again, Autumn.
It's so weird.
I know that is so weird.
No, I mean you're so weird.
Yeah, I know. I get it. It was a horrible transition. I get it.
Yeah, it was terrible.
But scientists, and we talked about this in season 3 when the first version of this came out, and now they have found a newer, better algorithm to detect not just people, but who individuals are just by how they walk around in a room and interfere with the Wi-Fi signals. So 2 years ago, they originally came up with this technique, and they were about 75% accurate. Now they are over 95% accurate. If you're just walk into the room and then walk out, the next time you walk into that room, they can check who you really are based on the Wi-Fi signals operating through and around your body.
Cool.
No cameras, no infrared sensors, no sneaky lasers or anything like that. Just, hey, we're just going to use the Wi-Fi signal in your house to be able to pinpoint exactly where and who you are.
So, because I didn't know about this article until just before, and even if I had, I wouldn't have read it anyway. So it's fine. They can tell the difference between people. But unless they're checking you using a device.
Nope. It has nothing to do with
your... What I'm saying is they don't know my name.
They don't know your name just from the Wi-Fi signal?
They just know I'm different from the other person who's in my house.
And they know a lot of your biometrics.
Yeah, so does Walt Disney.
Well, yes. Very. Yep. This one does not do fingerprints yet, but it does heart rate. It can track your heart rate. It knows there's one of the things that they built into the Amazon Echo devices a couple of years ago based on one of these studies is being able to detect the sound of your heart rate. And if you have a heart attack and you have the correct things activated on your Echo devices, it will call emergencies for you. It's a weird thing.
And here I am just using my Echo devices to play audio books and
burp and fart. I know. That's all I do.
That's all I do.
That's what I do. So what topic do you want to cover next, Autumn?
Let's do the music one.
Brains? Okay, so we are going to cover brains. I know we can't say the first words, But
Well, it's blanked out there, so
it's blanked out
fine.
on there. It's good.
Fine.
So basically, the idea being they did a study on people's brains and why you start to lose the ability to focus on things. And it turns out if you've got ADHD, maybe this won't work. Maybe it will. However, if you're a musician, it works. They have done a study, and people getting up to age 70, which is one of the nice things about this study. And also, by the way, in the show notes for you, the actual real study right here, long-term musical training can protect against age-related upregulation of neural activity in speech and noise perception. Don't you just love those study names? Effectively, what happens is if you know music and if you've done music for a good chunk of your life, you can't just start playing the guitar at age 65 and this is going to save you. But if you've done some sort of music, piano was one of the better things that they tested here. You play piano, don't you?
Since when? No.
No? Okay.
I mean, I can read music, but that's about it.
Okay.
Ish.
You have a piano.
Yeah, I'm not the one who plays it.
This is also true. Sorry.
Oh my God. He's been on your show.
He's been on the show a couple times. I know. If you do music, your brain can sort out speech and the important things you're supposed to be hearing from all the background noise that as you get older, some people get confused by and have a problem understanding until you get to quiet note spaces. Which my question to you, Autumn, is when you're driving and you're kind of lost and you're looking for the place, do you turn down the radio?
No.
See, so you're protected.
No, my phone tells me where to go.
Well, but you know what I mean. When
I might squint.
Okay.
But see, I mean, I'm not a good I don't play an instrument, for one. For two, I have incredibly good hearing. And I can't focus in loud places. Last night we went to a local pizza place and they were having trivia night. And the music where I was standing at the bar, just to get a drink, not because like, hey, I'm at the bar, whatever. So we're standing there. Shut up. We're standing there, and I can't focus on anything. Like all I am being is just bombarded by incredibly loud noise. So, and I've always been like that. This isn't like an age thing.
Yep.
That's just,
it's not just because you're getting older. I know.
No, that's just
you.
I mean, I suppose it's cool.
So one of the reasons I wanted to put it on the show, one, because I knew you were here, so I had to bring up the hearing thing.
Yeah, thanks.
Number two, the idea of if you do this when you're younger. So if you're just a millennial, if you're Gen X, if you're any of those people, well, Gen X could still be qualified. I mean, Gen Z definitely, but millennials and Gen X could be learning and doing this stuff too. If you go pick up a musical instrument, if you go start doing music of some sort, that can help your brain function better later on in life. So if you're Gen X, that's the next 20, 30 years of your life.
Yeah. But I mean, the youngest Gen X are about to hit 50.
Yeah.
So you don't have a whole lot of time.
Oh, you got plenty of time. If you've been doing good stuff if you've been treating your body right and you've been doing good things, you got plenty of time.
Come on.
I hope.
This generation ain't treat their body right.
Well,
I know
we'll
that.
See. So, do you want?
Hold up, real quick.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, this talks about you're assuming these are musicians or people who know how to play instruments that haven't played in incredibly loud places and didn't wear hearing protection, because that's going to negate all of that, because that is a sign of hearing loss. is that you can't focus, you can't hear. I don't have hearing loss, by the way, but you can't focus on people or what they're saying if there's loud noises around you. I've always been like this, and I have no age-related hearing degradation at all because I get my hearing checked on a regular basis. So that's not my problem. But it has to be people who have been in the music industry or people who have played instruments who don't have hearing damage.
Keith Richards.
There's all sorts of damage there. That's got nothing to do with
Has nothing to do with hearing.
No.
Do you want maps or earthquakes?
Huh?
What's your next topic? Maps
Earthquake.
or
Yeah,
earthquakes?
go with earthquakes. There's a map.
Earthquakes. There's a maps.
Oh, right, the
only
NASA
TV.
one. My bad. My bad. Like, what? What are you talking about? I've got them up here on my other screen, by the way.
That's awesome.
I'm like,
I'm
what?
very happy for that. So I was amazed at two things. One, how well they're tracking earthquakes nowadays. But also, number two, we didn't have this on video before. This is the first time anyone has had a full video of this type of earthquake actually happening live.
I would say the reason why probably is because a lot of, I mean, you may think that you live, oh, I'm in a highly populated area, but when you look at the actual percentage of the Earth's livable surface that is covered by people, it's really not as much as you think it is. So I'm not entirely surprised because a lot of these epicenters are going to be in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
In a mountain, like it's like, oh, it happened over here in California, and that's a freaking mountain. So okay.
So this is Myanmar, by the way, and this is you can see it's only 25 seconds long, and the whole driveway just cracks right in half.
Like I'm gonna
blam.
Well, I mean, you know, yes, we've got videos of buildings cracking. I know that's different.
And the difference is when you start getting deeper into all this and how these things work, and here's the actual science story about what was going on with it from there's a thing out of Kyoto in Japan. The one you're talking about with a building, that's a subsidence fault where the building is sinking, and this is a slip fault where it breaks across.
Right. So there's different types of fault lines all around the world, and a fault line, like say the San Andreas in California, is different than this fault line here. So we're not going to see. I know there's the ones where it like the Earth is ripping apart, and then there's the ones where one of the things is going under the other. Like so, there's a whole bunch of different places. Have you ever been through an earthquake, Bob?
Yes, I didn't know it, but yes.
Yeah, most of the time.
You have no idea.
Most of the world, you have no idea. Where were you?
Japan. Okinawa.
Well,
but that
I grew up in Missouri, where there's a fault line near the Mississippi River, and most of the time, the really low level ones just feel like the trash truck driving down your street.
Yep.
It's just like a rumble, and that's it.
Yeah. And that's exactly what our next story is. Thank you very much. I know you don't have an Android phone.
No.
However, anyone who has an Android phone is now automatically part of an earthquake warning system. So when your phone, when the accelerometer in your phone moves, again, AI training models, etc., have learned what it means when this particular type of vibration is happening in the accelerometer in your phone, and it compares it to other phones nearby, so it makes sure that it's not an isolated thing, like you said, the truck or things like that. And then it will radiate out, and once it can pinpoint something and let people know ahead of time that there is an earthquake happening, and they have been able to successfully do it now and show people in the real world up to 15 seconds before the earthquake actually happens in their area, because they can detect where the epicenter is. They can get that data to the phones that are out there, set off an alert, and then the wave comes and hits that space.
Now, what can you do in that 15 seconds?
Maybe get under your desk. Maybe get into a doorway. Well, I'm under the desk because my bookcases are going to be falling on me. I'm getting under the desk.
Yeah.
But
that's like again, having grown up in an area that was not necessarily prone to earthquakes. There was a really big bad one in the 1800s, but ever since then, not really. But having grown up in a place where there are tornadoes, you got 30 seconds.
Yeah.
You can't do a whole hell of a lot in 30 seconds. You run and you might get somewhere. Bathrooms are really, really good. I don't know about for earthquakes, but they generally tend to be the strongest point in a building.
They tend to be good for earthquakes because they have the walls close by, which helps protect from things that are going to fall down and doing it. Old structures with the pipes, yes. Modern structures with PVC pipes, not as much.
Snap.
Yeah. Well, it's not so much that they snap it; it's that they just don't provide the same amount of support.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah. Anyway.
But then I want to ask you, what do you feel about just everybody around you having a detector in their pocket, and you didn't have a choice in whether you wanted to participate in this or not?
Well, I mean, it's an earthquake detector, whatever. It's not like being automatically enrolled in a program that is going to spam you and whatever, I'm sure.
There's some of us that are old enough to remember people being upset with automatically getting a YouTube album dumped on their phones. Do you remember that from?
So I still have that one on my phone because I like them. And I was like, sweet, I got a free thing here. Awesome. But what I'm saying is you are already enrolled in stuff like this. And I'm sure if you absolutely want to turn off the warnings.
Yeah.
You can, because we all get those when everybody's phone in a 5-mile radius or whatever starts.
It feels like forever with those amber and silver alerts. Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's valid. But, oh God, every phone just goes screaming. And I've got mine turned off. I still get the alert. It still tells me. My phone just isn't screaming at me.
Oh, yeah. My phone's never got volume on. It's always a vibration.
No. Sometimes I don't even have, vibration on. I'm like, no, I don't need that. I don't need that business in my life. I'm fine. But I'm sure this is a similar situation where you can turn off the warnings. It's like, I want to collapse in a building, whatever. But it's public safety. Yeah. So that's different than getting an album from a band you may or may not like dumped on your phone.
I agree.
Very different.
I agree. That's a very good thing. Now, we have a different NASA story and a different Earth story with...
Alternate Earth.
No, not alternate Earth.
Next one. We're getting there.
Yeah, we'll get there. So NASA put out a super detailed map. So detailed, so extensive, they couldn't roll it all out at once. They picked certain parts of the planet to roll it out over the course of time. Here's a quick little summary article for you. And we've done a lot of these today. Here's the actual real data stuff that you can go and start using it and looking at how tight and close you can get individual city blocks, much better, much clearer data than you could on Google Earth, etc. like that. It's insane.
So I'm going to be using this the next time now, when I'm planning a trip, because that is how I know where I'm going. Like, I have such good sense of direction when I've planned a trip because I've used Google Earth to look, okay, this is what this looks like. So this is going to be super helpful for that.
And one of the things that this makes this super useful for researchers is it can detect within centimeters of subsistence. I've used that word twice today. Of the ground, so lack of groundwater, things like that. It can detect, and they can compare the photos to show. So in your case, I know you're going to go out hiking in the mountains.
Maybe. I don't know. I've done it. Yeah. Whatever.
And you'll be able to see exactly where the changes are on that trail over time and where it might be changing in the near future, because
I'm going to remember that.
I know. You might, actually. You might.
No, I won't.
Yeah.
So, this is a different satellite situation than when I heard about after hearing a talk from a gentleman who worked on the Apollo programs. He was a photographer for the Apollo program. And there has been, I don't know if it's still up, if it disintegrated, whatever. There was a satellite in orbit that could, under the control of NASA, that could be used to determine where crops would grow the best, when it was good, whatever. That's how they learned that goats are infinitely horrible for the environment, other than just looking evil. But that's not the point. The point is nobody ever used this. Nobody ever used the satellite for the purpose it was intended for. They purely used it for stock for, oh my God, what's it called? When you like buy stocks for things that are gonna happen, futures. It was only used in like wheat futures and things like that. So they knew when to get out. Basically insider trading through a satellite is essentially. So, but I mean, this is something that's basically grown off of that. Okay, I know we're like getting there, but you know what?
No, I'm watching the time because we got one more story that we got to cover for you.
Yeah.
Because I found this one and I was like, okay, I know exactly who to have on the show.
Well, I mean, I was already going to be on here anyway, so whatever.
So it turns out there's kryptonite on Earth.
So
kind of, sort of.
Ish. It's not called kryptonite.
It's called?
Was it jaredite?
Yep.
I mean, it looks like it.
Jaderite.
Close enough. So I like how they mention, okay, so for those out there who do not know this, because I know there's at least one person watching here who does know this. Not you don't count. That
who doesn't know? I don't know.
You know that I've been really into Superman since I was like a little kid, because my parents took me to see one of the movies, and it was it was Superman 2, but for those counting, following along, that makes me older. But I like how they mentioned that in Superman Returns, Lex Luthor steals kryptonite from a museum, not to be confused with Superman 4, when Lex Luthor steals Superman's hair from a museum to create Nuclear Man. Just FYI. That movie was terrible. But. So there actually is a noble gas on the periodic table called krypton. I looked that up totally, because I'm like, wait, it's already on there. But it's a noble gas, and it was discovered in 1898. So this was before Superman. But if you haven't seen the new Superman movie, go see it, because it's awesome. That's the only thing I wanted to say when I saw this article. I was like, go see Superman.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Wonderful.
I'm glad that you enjoyed it.
Wonderful.
It's from all accounts I've heard,
anyone who's ever had a dog will know how he feels.
Okay, then.
Because oh my God.
Yeah. The last part, it's a great little story. It's very fun. It's got the pop, culture tie-in for it. The reason why we did not include in your show notes for you a link to it is there's not a public sourced document. You have to actually subscribe to this particular database. The library doesn't happen. Broward County Libraries does not happen to have this database.
Yeah.
So I don't give you links that you can't use. So there's a link to the article that talks about it, but there's not a direct link to the study.
I mean, I can understand why we don't have a subscription, because that's a pretty
obscure one.
That would be mostly an academic library that would subscribe to this database, because that's who's going to be using it. If you have a heavy geology department or chemistry.
The reason it actually popped up is not because of Superman, but because
whatever.
No, this is a new element that we never knew about. We didn't know existed until they found it doing the volcanic testing, and that's why they found this brand new mineral.
And they can't name it kryptonite because
it's already been taken.
Krypton's already been taken.
Yep.
With the periodic
Masses. Yep, up at the top.
KR. It's KR. Just heads up, because K was already taken.
By
potassium.
There we go. See,
yeah,
so smart, so much fun.
I got it right over there. I've got the periodic table on my card down there.
If you haven't been to the Bob and Autumn show at these events, you got to come see our science fair stuff. We do some pretty fun things, but we actually should be kind of getting out of here by now.
Yeah, whatever. It'll be all right.
It's been a good show.
We'll be fine.
If there is someone you'd like to see on this show other than me, reach out. Creation Station at Broward.org. Hit like and subscribe out there for us. We'll see you next week.